Captain's Log, Stardate 52081.2. The Enterprise is en route to the planet Baku. We must travel through the Briar Patch, a metaphasic nebula, which is in no way a plot device, which happens to look really cool. Hey, and welcome to Making Space. I've been rewatching some classic movies. Wow, I'm aware that some, actually a lot of you watching this are younger than Star Trek Insurrection. Anyway, it's not the greatest Star Trek movie, but at least the nebula in it looked awesome. And that's what this video is covering. The fourth in my Making Nebula series. This technique is all about what ends up on screen. I'm not creating volumetric particles. Instead, we'll be using turbulent noise and 2.5D flats arranged in 3D space. It's really easy to fall into the trap of creating full 3D environments, but I find that when you use simulation tools, you lose a lot of the control you need, and you end up rendering and tweaking, and then rendering again and again. By faking it, I generally find I get a better result and enjoy the process more. I did use Video Copilot's Element 3D to animate Chris Kuhn's excellent Enterprise D model. I'm also going to use Video Copilot's free plugins Orb and Vibrance. Orb to create the stars outside the nebula, and Vibrance as a quick way to add final colours. So if you don't have those plugins, pause the video, follow the links in the description below, download and install them now. Hey, you're back! Let's get started. Here I am in After Effects 1080p comp. Create a new solid by going to Layer, New, Solid. Make it comp sized. And then go to Effect, Noise and Grain, Turbulent Noise. According to Adobe's website, Turbulent Noise is an optimized version of Fractal Noise. Set the type to Dynamic Twist. This gives a cool, well, twisty look, but you can swap this noise type out to get different nebula looks. Set the contrast to 150 and the brightness down to -30. In Transform, I've upped the scale to 130. But again, this can give you all sorts of different looks, especially if you uncheck the uniform scale options. Now, this being a nebula hanging in space, I'm not going to animate the evolution a lot, just a subtle amount. Hold the Alt key and click on the evolution stopwatch and type value plus time times 20. Now to put some colour into it. Go to Effect, Generate, 4-color gradient. And what I'm going to do here is to set one of the colours to be black, which will end up giving the clouds a sense of depth. I'm then going to set the other colours to be some variations on the colour I want. Now we've lost our clouds, so drag the gradient effect above the noise effect, and in the noise settings, set the blending mode to multiply. Cool, but a little bit too uniform. Turn off noise for a moment, go to Effect, Distort, Turbulent Displace. Set the amount to 250 and the size to 130, and the complexity all the way up to 10. We're getting some really interesting clouds just with this. But now drag our turned off turbulent noise below turbulent displace and turn it on. To get some detail back in the display settings, set the opacity to 70%. The turbulent displace has cut out some sections with a harsh edge, so I'll go to Effect, Blur and Sharpen, Channel Blur, and set a small amount of blur to the alpha channel. To create the glowy cloud lightning type thing, go to Effect, Generate, Circle. Set the blending mode to Color Dodge, and position it where the clouds look dense. Drop the opacity to 80%, expand Feather and set Feather Outer Edge to 130. To get the flickering, you could either keyframe the radius, or hold Alt and click on the radius stopwatch, and in the expressions area type wiggle brackets 3, 200, close brackets. This will, 3 times per second, alter the circle's radius from its base of 75 pixels by as much as 200 pixels. If you want to know more about wiggles, check out my solve-in tutorial on keyframing a wiggle. Finally, for this solid, go to Effect, Video Copilot, VC Vibrance, and change the colour from green to an orange or whatever you think looks good. For the outer shape, create another solid. Hit enter and rename this matte. parent it to the first solid, and solo it. Select the elliptical mask tool, and double click it to add a circular mask to the matte solid. Go add Turbulent Displace. Set the amount to 110, and the size to 370, and the complexity to 8. And holding Alt, click on the evolution stopwatch, and in the expressions area type time times 10, just to add a tiny bit of movement. Unsolo it and set the clouds layer's track matte to alpha matte. The edges are a little harsh, so select the matte layer and double tap the M key to expand the mask options, and set the mask feather to 50. Cool! That's the hard bit. Just quickly, if you could hit like or subscribe, it helps my channel with YouTube's engagement algorithm. I know I normally do a better joke here, I promise I'll try better next time. Make the layers 3D and drag them back in Z space. Then, making sure both layers are selected, go to Edit, Duplicate, and then drag these copies around and arrange them so there's some overlap. To make this easier, go to Layer, New, Camera, and then use the camera's orbit controls to pan across. With this duplicated layer, mess with the color, circle position, and evolution options. Because we included value in our expression earlier, we can have different starting points. And because I want to create a tunnel effect, I can add an additional mask to the matte to cut out a bit more, setting the mask to subtract and messing with the opacity, which creates a dimmer area as if this bit was further away. And let's duplicate the solids a few more times, rearranging the colors, evolution and scaling, and make one duplicate to be just in front of the camera. Like I said at the start, I used element for the starship, and in the render settings I set the environment color to match the nebula and pointed to one of my solids to be the environment with effects and masks. I also used additional lighting, and final touch, this cool shadow, suggesting there's a gas we can't quite see and the Enterprise is blocking some light. To do this, I could make a duplicate of element, tint it black, but there's a slightly simpler option. Create a new black solid, and then go to Effect, Channel, Set Matte, and set Take Matte to the element layer with effects and masks. Now create a null object to act as our light or shadow casting source. Make it 3D and position it where you want. And on the shadow solid, go to Effect, Blur and Sharpen, CC Radial Blur, and then taking the expression from another tutorial of mine, on the blur center, hold Alt and click on the stopwatch. In the expressions area, use the pick whip to select your 3D shadow null, and then type dot, to comp, brackets, square brackets, 0, 0, 0, close square brackets, close brackets. This will center our 2D blur on the 3D null, and now set the amount to 130. And you're done. Except for the stars outside, I've covered that before too. As I've said at the start, you need to plan your shots, but you can get some really cool results just by messing with the matte mask's shapes and arranging the solids in different positions. I've included my project in the description below, take a look at it, but you'll probably get better results building your own. Transporter room? Want to beam up? Energize.